I founded the Cleanest Lab a few years ago based out of a need for my sister. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with leukemia.
What's going on, y'all? On today's episode, I have Samantha Kent, founder of the Cleanest Lab. I was really captivated by your story. I wanted to hear it from you and you share with the audience who you are and then a little bit about your brand.
I had actually started two companies previously. My first one was in the pet care space, and then my second one was in the hair care space. So I had actually exited out of both of those companies and was kind of just sitting at home trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, really looking at different industries, different types of projects. And then this happened and it all just came together and we decided to move forward. Ever since then, we've sort of continued to evolve and grow into products that really just fill needs.
How does your sister feel about it?
Oh my gosh, she loves it.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Alex Quin, and this is the Huste Inspires Hustle podcast. On today's episode, I have Samantha Kent, founder of the Cleanest Lab. What's up, Samantha?
How's it going?
I'm really excited to have you on here. What's going on? Where you at?
So I'm actually based in Miami, Florida, so in the nice weather.
Always.
Yep, absolutely.
Amazing. So I see you got some of your products behind you. That's cool.
Yes, we do. We have quite the lineup and it continues to grow, so we're really excited about that.
I was really captivated by your story, but before I jump in and share a little bit on it and ask you some questions, I wanted to hear it from you and you share with the audience who you are and then a little bit about your brand.
Absolutely. So I founded the Cleanest Lab a few years ago based out of a need for my sister. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with leukemia, and it really came to a shock to all of us, just going through all of the products and what she could use, what she couldn't use. So thank goodness now she's in remission and everybody's healthy. But ever since then, we've sort of continued to evolve and grow into products that really just fill needs. I can go into it further, but every
Yeah, go ahead.
product, just really was developed. I was getting married then next, and I have the biggest fear of needles.
Mm.
So instead of getting Botox before my wedding, I was like, okay, we need a solution that is healthy for me and needle free, but will still keep my face looking nice and tight. So we developed the No Tox product, which is awesome. It's our latest launch. But so we want to just continue to develop products that really are made with a purpose and of course adhere to super strict safety and health ingredients, etc.
Great. What were you doing before the line, before everything happened with your sister?
Absolutely. So I had actually started two companies previously. My first one was in the pet care space, and then my second one was in the hair care space. So I had actually exited out of both of those companies and was kind of just sitting at home trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, really looking at different industries, different types of projects. And then this happened and it all just came together and we decided to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible to see how you came together, you built this thing, made it into what it is, and thank God your sister's in remission now. So, something beautiful did come of it. I'm sure it was very challenging. I'm sure it's something you wouldn't want to go through again, but something beautiful was born out of it. How does your sister feel about it?
Oh my gosh, she loves it. She's
Yeah.
so happy. I mean, she always makes sure that she has her shower stocked. She would actually go around when she was in treatment and she would be giving it out to everybody and saying, oh, my sister and I made this. And it'll really help you keep your confidence, which was something that we really wanted to stress is such a bad thing shouldn't be so bad. There should be ways to make it a little bit better.
What year did it start?
She was diagnosed in 2021.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Yep.
you've been operating for about 2 or 3 years.
Yep. So we were able to launch in 2022. So it's been just almost 2 years now.
Oh my God, incredible. But your
Yeah.
other businesses were e-com, right?
So yes, actually, my first business was in the pet care space. So
Yeah.
we had actually developed all of the pet care products, so the grooming products, and then we had physical locations. So we had 3 salons in Dallas, Texas, which
Oh
was
wow. So you
pretty
had a
exciting.
hybrid. That's pretty cool.
It did. Yeah, it was awesome. It was definitely an experience. I learned a lot about physical operations and kind of
Right.
managing a bunch of people, which is um, something that I greatly appreciate, but it's not what I'm passionate about. I prefer kind of being more on the product side and really just keeping a small, lean team and
Hmm.
being very productive in that way.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a different ballpark when you're playing with physical locations, not it's the overhead, everything related to it. It's in my opinion, it's a lot more stressful. I've been a digital marketer now for 15 years, 10 years in my business. Actually, holy crap. In a month from today is my 10-year anniversary. My business. I just realized. I thought it was today. I thought it was today. I'm like, what the fuck? I forgot. Yeah, so I know what that's like, and running an e-com store is super cool. And it's more like it's more than just having a store. I mean, I'm sure you put a crap ton of research and development time into your products. I see you have multiple products back there. Let's dive into the products a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started out with the hair care because that was the initial focus with my sister.
Hmm.
Her hair was sort of thinning and just losing its luster. She was really kind of reduced to using Castile soap, which is not a great thing as a girl with long hair who's used to having, luscious locks, styling it. I mean, she was a product junkie to say the least. So when developing the initial SKUs, we were really focusing on maintaining that sort of soft, long, healthy hair in a way that's going to be safer to use for everybody. And once again, consult your doctor before if you're actually undergoing chemo. But it's just a better alternative for everybody out there. It's obviously all I use now, but that's kind of where we started. So with the 3 product mix with the shampoo, the conditioner, and then the leave-in conditioner, just for after the shower. Everything is silicone free, which is something that I really cared about. And, there's so much technology out there now. The problem is most people just don't want to pay for it. But we took the approach of let's just put the best of the best in the bottle. Um, and we just want people to understand quality products, and not every company has to be about having the highest profit margin. You gotta
Yeah.
everyone has to make their piece along the way, but you don't have to be greedy, and having outstanding products just sort of speak for themselves.
I was about to say that quality speaks for itself.
Yeah.
People will understand the true value of the brand. The brand will spread. Eventually, when you extend the product line, they'll give it a shot, and they'll start trusting you for other things.
Yeah.
So to backtrack a little bit, the main focus at first was to make sure that whatever you did put together was something that wouldn't affect Ashley's skin due to the reaction she would get after chemo.
Correct. Yep. So, and
And
she
how
also
long
had
did that process take to find like that formula you saw? It's not affecting her. This could be something we have like a something to test now. We have a product market fit.
So, we did a bunch of research, and being in the hair care space previously, we had
Yeah.
access to the best of the best as far as the development team. So we had obviously tested internally, not putting my sister in any of the initial testing, just to make sure that everything was feeling good and, functioning. We try to use alternatives, even for preservatives, because preservatives get such a bad rep these days, but you want to make sure that you don't have any growth in the products, because that's obviously going to impact somebody with a really weak immune system as well. So there's this
It's just like
delicate,
bacterial growth.
yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Preservatives typically get such a bad rep, just because of the nature of it. And a lot of them in the past have been super toxic almost to prevent all of this stuff. The joke is you could make a shampoo back in the 90s and it would still be perfectly fine today. Um, So just sort of evaluating and looking at the different types of preservative systems that are out there now and what will be the most beneficial to actually keeping the integrity of the product without causing harm, in usage or built up usage over time. So it's this delicate art of, pulling products together. And I'm lucky that it wasn't just me doing this.
Yeah.
And I had the
It's
best
a
team.
group effort, right? So like I see that there's a family business style involved because your mom, Sharia, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
she has over 30 years experience in product creation. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like perfect because you had the initiative to do it. It's something that you knew would help your sister. Your mom had background. It's kind of like the three of you had, in a
Yeah.
sense, like the perfect formula to bring this to life.
Absolutely. And it's been a nice time just being able to work with both of them. I never would have thought if you would have told me this, 5 years ago that we would have been working on this. It would be with them. And it's just been the best opportunity to be able to have something to talk about beyond, just the typical mother-daughter, sister-sister talk. So it's been great.
So talk to me about one step above clean and pure.
Yes. So that one step above clean is pure in every sense of the way, because there's the clean standards, which everybody is used to, Sephora clean,
Yeah.
Ulta clean, Target clean, Whole Foods clean. Everybody has their different version of clean. And so instead of, just focusing on those clean lists, really taking it a step further and focusing on the pure intention of the product. So once again, making sure that we're choosing the right product, using it at the right levels to be able to get the best result for yourself as well as the environment, and making sure that it's as little impact to anybody's health as possible.
So during this process, you discovered a link between leukemia and benzene. Was that you? And you discovered it's a
So
harmful ingredient in many beauty products?
we didn't actually discover the link. There's been tons of research that's been going
Okay.
on in the last, I would say 5 years, between all of the ingredients that are used in personal care, and the direct link to leukemia. So that is one thing, in the fragrance, in candles, in room fresheners. I mean, everywhere you look, there's all these chemicals that can be creating long-term blood diseases.
Mm,
And you don't even realize all of the exposure that you're getting
right.
throughout the day. So taking a step back and trying to figure out, okay, how can we create amazing products that don't feel like you're sacrificing anything, but, you know, eliminating that exposure to the toxicity and elements that can prevent diseases down the line.
Do you remember the day that you said, I'm going to create a product line around this? I know, like, we talked about the story, but can you pinpoint it down to a day where you guys are like, all right, no, like, we got to turn this into something?
It's really funny. I can't pinpoint a day, but it was definitely just a period in time when I wasn't working on anything. So then I just sort of started thinking like, oh, well, I wonder if I start to focus on this. I wonder if Ashley would like it. And then I just did more research and more research. And then I spoke to both my mom and my sister, and they were like, okay, we should do this. And then we just kind of evolved it from there. But there wasn't one point in time where
Okay.
I was like, Eureka, I got this.
Well, I mean, from the outside in, it seems like maybe this could have been something that was very motivating for Ashley in such a difficult time, right? Because she's going through chemo, she's going through all this uncertainty, but at the same time, she sees her mom and her sister kind of like working hard to provide solutions in a sense with what you could do, with the knowledge you do have up until that moment. I mean, if I was her, I would be hella motivated. Like, oh my God, look at this! Like they're 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 taking it on, like they're taking on the challenge. They're being part of this process with me, and then a beautiful brand is born around it. I'm sure she felt amazing about it.
Absolutely. And it gave us something else to talk about. I think everybody reacts to illnesses in a different way, and it's obviously something that we can't control, and plays such a big role in everybody's life. So instead of focusing on, oh my gosh, my sister's sick, and then, it just kind of dwells, and then you think about things differently, you kind of almost treat her a little differently. So
Hmm.
having this gave me the opportunity to not dwell on the illness, but turn it into a positive and something that she was excited to talk about. And we were excited to kind of take on, as opposed to, something that's so dark and can almost be just all consuming in a very negative way. So that's how I coped with it.
Outside of finding the right formula and making sure it's good on sensitive skin, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when starting this out?
Some of the biggest challenges was actually pushing the product forms with the limitation of ingredients that usually you'd be able to have access to if you were developing a line. So we wanted this to be not like a lightweight shampoo even. We wanted it to be a really gentle, kind of almost creamy texture that when you put it on, it wasn't so stripping. Because a lot of products are, they have intense surfactants, which is awesome if you are exercising a lot and you just have a lot of buildup and you just want to cleanse everything out. But when you need to focus on, not over stripping your scalp, it's important to have something that's, gentle and lighter, but still removes the oil and buildup and all of that sort of stuff. So
I
it
didn't
was a
know that. I
delicate
just learned
dance.
something new today.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of ingredients and everything related to that, how do you source ingredients and what criteria must they meet for you?
So we source ingredients with the knowledge that my mom has. We've built up she's built up relationships over the years with all of
Imagine.
these amazing vendors, and they've been so supportive and helping us and presenting us with the latest technology that we've really been able to use and incorporate as far as standards. It needs to function with a purpose, not have any sort of ethoxylated materials or any residues. And
What
it
is
needs,
ethoxylated? What does that mean?
so it's just a process when, usually when surfactants are made, there can be, okay, I'll take it a step back.
Yeah.
So a good example is there's two, and we don't use either of these materials, but it's just a good example. So there's two sulfates. There's SLS and there's another version, SLES. So SLES is an ethoxylated sulfate, and it can have remnants of 1,4-dioxane, which is something that you don't want to use on your skin, especially if you're in a health compromised situation.
Hmm.
And then SLS doesn't have the ethoxylated material, but it is a sulfate. So it performs in a different way. So two products that do the exact same thing, but just manufactured differently.
Beautiful. So outside of manufacturing, outside of research and development, everything, obviously you have to bring it to market, right? What are some ways you're working to educate consumers about safe skincare practices?
And that's definitely something that we are still working through. I mean, educating is the hardest part of any brand. And I think people have so many misconceptions of clean and what it is and what it means. And it's tossed around so lightly these days that people
Mhm.
are almost losing trust in it. So
Yeah.
we're really focusing on the performance and using the good for you and the purity of it as kind of almost a secondary story, which is so funny, seeing as we started out with that being the primary focus, but really just having the product performance shining through is really what we're using to promote the brand. We're doing a lot of sampling, and just really face-to-face interaction is kind of been our most successful tactic.
I had somebody on the podcast last year. His name is Eric Roa. He's the owner of Pacino's men's like he has gels, he has wax, like men's beauty products type stuff. I use a lot of them. And he's in Walmart, he's in CVS, he's in Target, all this. It's funny.
Yep.
He posted a video on his on his Instagram the other day because he always shows like how his growth was and what he did to get to where he's at.
Mhm.
And when he first got to the stores, like he first saw that he was opening in stores, he bought a car like a crossover, and he wrapped it, and he drove around the entire United States sitting outside of the stores that sold his products, and he would actually sample the products in small samples to the people
Mhm.
before they walked in so they were purchased. And I mean, you'd be surprised how far that goes. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys are doing that, because ultimately the only way to get people to trust and believe in your product is not only to educate but to get products in hands.
Absolutely. And especially when you focus on the quality first, it really is just a matter of talking to as many people and getting as many brand ambassadors on your side. And because then they'll talk about your brand to their friends, and then hopefully they'll fall in love with it and it'll just sort of continue to build organically. I think we've kind of gotten to a point where digital I guess in my previous company, we focused so heavily on digital and we kind of lost the face-to-face interactions. And
Hmm.
so with a project that's so personal like this, I think for us, the best thing to do is to be face-to-face and to be personal and to be able to have those interactions directly as opposed to through a screen.
Yeah. So you talked about marketing. What marketing strategies have proven the most effective for you guys, being that you are an e-com store, but still need to keep that physical aspect?
Absolutely. So we've done a lot of trunk shows, honestly, and that's been great Even if we're not necessarily selling a whole bunch, we've found that a lot of so whenever we do a trunk show in a different area, if we go online and we look at our analytics, most of our uplift will come from that area that we did the trunk show. So
What is a
even
trunk show? I'm sorry, it's the first time I hear that term.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So a trunk show is pretty much where a bunch of different kind of smaller brands will come together and set up an event where everybody will kind of have a table
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
we'll have like refreshments and, just fun walk around activities.
Nice. Like a
And then
networking type. Yeah.
exactly. So it's been really great. That's been our probably biggest tactic.
I like that you look at the analytics. I like all that nerdy stuff. That's what I do on a daily basis. This is the podcast. This is where we chat business. But when I get off the podcast, I'm on my computer. I'm deep into analytics, looking at e-com stores and everything related to that to make sure that the data lines up. Now, what are some of the key lessons you've learned about leadership while running the Cleanest Lab? You've already had a few businesses. This is obviously your latest one. Is there anything new that you've learned or anything that sticks out?
I think in general, I'm not the best communicator, so being able to take a step back and listen and really kind of digest everybody's suggestions and then come back with a very well thought out response and plan and action plan has been the most effective thing for growth and inspiration.
Okay.
I think in my previous roles, you're younger, you're so excited, somebody says something and you just kind of quickly rattle off a bunch of ideas. And then at the end of the day, everyone's like, okay, these are great ideas, but what, how, what's important, what's not important. So being able to kind of sift through and communicate a well thought out, like, okay, this is our
Action
plan
plan.
for the week. This is how we're going to do it. Open to suggestions. And getting feedback too has been the best and just really listening. And everybody has such different perspectives and thoughts. And there's no right way, wrong way. It's just, okay, what can we try today to improve for tomorrow?
What advice would you give to someone looking to start their own business in the beauty industry? I'm
I
sure
would
there's a lot of advice, but top of mind.
Top of mind, I would say do your research on your suppliers because they, at the end of the day, are going to be the ones. You could have the best product in the world. If you can't rely on somebody to get it to you in time and at the quality level that you need it, you don't have a product.
Understood. I love that.
Yeah.
Samantha, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I just want to be remembered as a good person. I want to make sure that everything I do has integrity. I don't need to be, I guess held in such a high regard where everybody's like, oh my God, she was the most successful person ever. But, I want everybody to just know that, oh, I worked with her. She meant what she did and everything was, above bar. I think that's the most important thing for me.
I think that's very important. Where can we find you on socials where we could connect with your brand, yourself? Go ahead and share anything, and we're going to link it on the show notes as well. So, y'all, if you're listening, watching this, whatever platform you're listening on, go to the show notes and we'll link everything we talked about here on the podcast.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Instagram at the Cleanest Lab and on our website, thecleanestlab.com.
Awesome. How about personals? Are you active on personals?
You
Sharing your
know,
stuff?
I'm not very active on personal. I think I've definitely become more of a private person as I've grown up. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's so much out there. I'm not that interesting. The products are interesting, so that's what I try to focus on.
Well, don't sell yourself short. I understand the personal part because, for example, for me on my socials, you won't find any of my personal stuff on socials, but I will share stuff related to the brands.
Yeah.
And you're doing something really incredible here. I do value and respect the fact that you value your privacy, but I also do recognize the incredible advantage that you could have in sharing the story, especially you guys as a family, what you've been able to accomplish together. Is very inspiring to a lot of people. A lot of people in a situation like that, Samantha, might have maybe been all doom and gloom and potentially could have had different results. And you guys have done something incredible. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here today. Everybody listening, like I said, you could go to hustleinspireshustle.com/podcast, find that episode, find the episode summary. You'll be able to find everything related to the Cleanest Lab, or on whatever streaming platform you're listening right now, you'll be able to find the show notes so you can connect with the Cleanest Lab and learn a little bit more about what they have going on. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was awesome.
All right, y'all. This is Alex Quin, Samantha Kent, Hustle Inspires Hustle. See you on the next episode.